Strange New Worlds ruined the Gorn, and my click ruined my bit. Oh, and I only got halfway. This is going to be a super long stream. We're talking Strange New Worlds. If, you know, I'll probably upload this part separately so that the Star Trek people don't have to skip through 3 hours of shooting the crap for, you know, to get to the Star Trek stuff. Unless they do want to watch the Obi-Wan stuff, then watch the whole stream. I'll probably leave that live too. I have no idea. Which novelist did they rip off this week? Do we know yet?
Well,
because last week, the whole reason that one was halfway watchable, according to our good friend Margaret Meyer Burnett, is that because they ripped off DC Fontana's Star Trek novel about the backstory of number one, about this Vulcan lovemaking habits, and about all of these things. And yeah, that makes sense, because I knew that they couldn't make something like, wait a minute, this has characters and story, and it gets you from point A to point B to point C.
And it makes sense.
And it makes sense, sort of. But the honeymoon couldn't last long. And we got a new episode. Here's our new episode, episode 4. What's it called?
It's called
Memento Mori or something.
Yeah, Memento Mori.
Something.
When the moon hits your eye, like a big pizza pie. That's Memento Mori.
Now I want pizza. I'm hungry. I am starving. Are we going to get carnivore burgers from Carl's?
Probably.
They have a new one. It's got like prime rib, and it's a thick burger, and it's got like onion rings on it. Get mine without barbecue sauce. Yeah. Go get the coupon for it. I'll show you. She looks weird in a jumpsuit.
I wasn't clear about the terrible pain part. Maybe I wasn't clear when I said no.
Oh, this is all previously on. So, La'an noonien-singh. She has this whole history with not liking the Gorn because they treat people like human meat bags, and they like... Here, look at this. Look at this burger. Speaking of meat bags, look at that. It's the new Primal Angus thick burger featuring prime rib and amber barbecue sauce. It looks like it has onion rings too. Then they've got the Beyond Raptor burger featuring the barbecue. I want mine without the barbecue sauce. I do not like barbecue sauce.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Yes. That's what I would like, because I'm not a barbecue sauce fan. Oh, they do have a big Carl for free though with a purchase. Carl's Jr. This is not brought to you by Carl's Jr. That's going to be a segment on his channel about trying foods. Also, who are you? Why are you here?
I'm Rob off camera.
He's Rob off camera. Because he only exists as a voice. He's not a real human.
That's Glaceon Spock.
There's Glaceon Spock.
Both my parents were...
Everybody's tragic backstory. So everybody lost somebody. Everybody's awful. We come upon Remembrance Day, where they wear a pin of the ship that they used to be on for some reason. What if this is their first assignment? What if they've never been on a ship somewhere? Why are they remembering?
La'an was on USS Puget Sound.
That sounds dumb. Pungent stench. She has clothes all over the floor. You'd think she'd keep her quarters a little neater. Is that clothes on the bed?
That's the bed.
Oh, that's the bed. That's the bed.
But
you'd think she would keep her quarters a little neater.
But typically you would name it after a city or a place, a specific.
Also looks very TNG instead of TOS, but you know.
You can exact a heavy toll. As captain, there is no loss more devastating than that.
Oh yeah, so he comes over the announcement. He's like, "Hey, we all have a remembrance thing, and this and that, and everybody's wearing their little pin of who they're remembering on their little thing here." Okay, it's an interesting premise. They're really trying to feel like Star Trek.
Yeah.
The main character, there isn't a main character. They don't have a main character that does everything. They split off into teams. Like right here, we see Uhura and what's the name? The Andorian guy? Hammer, whatever his name is.
Hey, I remembered his name.
Yeah, he has a name. He's like a character. He's like a real person, almost. He actually is pretty good. He's a pretty good character, considering. Like, who wrote this character? They probably stole him from a novel. Probably. And so this whole premise is, yes, we're remembering people, and then we get a distress call.
Appears to be the problem, Captain. Benibus 3 is not responding because the colony's communication satellite has been destroyed.
So there's a colony that they come upon, and of course they beam down, and everything's like a gory, violent scene. It's a scene.
Because it's gory and violent. It's got to be gory and violent because it's Kurtzman Trek.
Yeah, so it's like, oh no, they dragged all the bodies away, and it's all bloody and gross, and there's a blood stain everywhere. So something happened. I get tired of tragic backstory characters, don't they? Yeah, aren't they bad? Yeah, they only have one communication satellite. Yeah, that too. Alright, so the mystery is, where are the colonists? Where are the colonists? So apparently they're on a ship. Where were they hiding? Were they hiding on a ship?
They're hiding on a ship somewhere and right in orbit, I think.
Yeah, so they're hiding on a ship in orbit. So old Tilly here is like, yeah, we just had to make sure you weren't, the monsters that came for us. So they try and beam all these people out. Oh, it's a mining ship. It's a mining ship.
Yeah.
They're on a mining ship now. They're transporting radioactive waste. They can't beam them out because it's radioactive and stuff. So they can't just beam them out. So they got to do it a different way or something. But then they do end up beaming them out.
No, they get the bridge. The bridge.
Oh, yeah, okay. So they do end up beaming him out, and they're like, there's monsters here, what happened?
Did you see something, Fig?
The kid's name's Fig, like as in Newton. Yes, I saw monsters.
Can you give her a better hairstyle?
Lon.
Yes, oh my god.
She looks like a 4th grader.
It's pulled, it's, not for nothing.
They click. The monsters do clicking noises.
What monsters?
Like the
The
Bushmen.
ones who took Daddy.
The monsters who took Daddy, they make clicking noises like the Bushmen from The Gods Must Be Crazy.
I love that movie.
I do too. The sequel, not so much.
Fig?
Yes, I was named after a Newton. I'm a cookie.
It's dark. I didn't see it,
It was dark and I can't act, and I'm only here because I have freckles.
but it makes noises.
They click.
That's
So they're the Bushmen from The Gods Must Be Crazy.
And this, of course, triggers a memory.
And that triggers a memory in La'an, who's trauma blocked. Here's where she gets trauma blocked, too.
I was expecting her to say that.
Well, she's trauma locked. I think we messed up.
Okay,
So she has...
incoming missile.
Here, she's trauma blocked.
It's the Gorn.
It's the Gorn! Oh no, run! It's the Gorn! Oh no! I wish I had the clip of the Gorn, the rock bouncing off of his chest. It's the Gorn! It's the Gorn! Snort. And she freezes. I can't move because I'm scared of the Gorn. So there's our new Gorn ship. How does that look? Does that look right to you guys?
Not really.
Does this look okay to you guys? So there's our Gorn ship.
But listen, Robert Meyer Burnett is right though. Why do we need to make an enemy out of it?
Yeah, they're making them all enemies instead of adversaries. It's Friday! Let there be jingles. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Steve
it.
Botham, thank you.
Thank you. It is Friday.
Granted, you know what? They were looking around for. Here's their thinking. Oh, let's take an alien species we know very little about, so we can do anything we want with them. So, that's their thinking.
And then we get the captain's log, right?
Yeah.
The problem is
22 producers.
and then there's 22 producers. So she keeps seeing this creepy guy smiling at her.
He's got a zit on his face.
Yeah, so she keeps seeing this creepy guy smiling at her for no reason. Yeah, when are the Gorn super male vitality things, Rob?
Yeah. Just look what it's done for me. Boom.
So she's trauma blocked.
The captain.
I can't move. I can't move. Get to the bridge. I can't. I froze. I got trauma blocked. Is this before or after? Right here.
didn't make it.
I'm sorry, I froze. I got trauma blocked. I want the clip of that. I have to keep stopping it so it doesn't like get me for copyright here.
Well, that's probably the next episode.
No, that's here because she says I was locked. Oh yeah, so she got like blown up all the crap too.
But the guy, according to the reviewer, they actually say I'm trauma blocked in an upcoming episode.
I'll be fine. Thank you. I locked up. I forget.
I locked up.
Yeah, she says I locked up. I got trauma blocked. All right, so there's like get to the bridge. She's like, hey, trust me. It's the Gorn. Trust me, it's the Gorn.
Okay.
We gotta do something because they make clicky noises and it's the Gorn, and we gotta do this and that.
And they peddle supplements.
Mm-hmm. And it's hopeless, and it's so hopeless and pointless to try and do anything because they only think of us as meat bags and feed their young, and we're not people to them. We're just food. So I mean, they're an enemy that can't be stopped. Yeah, I don't like that they kind of make her a racist like that, but because that's so un-Star Trek, you know. I think anyway. Speaking of species that aren't well fleshed out, watch them try to use the breen, right? Oh, that'll be the next one.
Species 487.
Species 8472.
8472, whatever. Not for nothing, but that's even, if you think about it, that's scarier. Species 8472. It doesn't even have a name. Mm-hmm. Species 8472. Right. That is. We call them species 8472. That's terrifying. So this, not so much.
No, and so she's like, yeah, we can't win, and then he's like, hey, no, we have to make sure that people think they can win because morale. Because you tell them that they can make a miracle, and they'll make a miracle.
So what were you after? Oh, Uhura.
Oh yeah, and meanwhile, Uhura's in there with engineering with the dude, and they're gonna have like bad stuff. The whole engineering thing's gonna explode.
Now, I like this, but it's ripped off from the TNG episode Catastrophe.
Yeah. So he has to walk her through fixing, the coolant and the ship and stuff because his hands don't work. And she can fix it here. He can't. And he's like, yeah, let me guess. Our only way out is, blocked. All right, then we gotta fix it. If we don't, the whole ship's gonna blow up.
An explosion of that magnitude
would consume the Enterprise in an atomic blast. Yes.
The transporters are offline.
Okay, now this is a very Star Trek-like part.
Yeah. So they're even having a briefing about what needs to happen.
They're trying to come up with solutions.
Yeah, sickbay can't synthesize stuff because power's out, so they got to use old-fashioned stuff like stitches, which is interesting, sort of, And
if you're the 23rd century, why would you be trained to be able to use stitches?
Right.
That's.
Well, I mean, you would, and he's like, "Hey, you have an interest in archaeological medicine? You should do this."
Archaeological medicine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right there, I queued up the right line.
How good are you at sewing?
There you go. Okay, you know what? All right, good.
I mean, they did this. This is ripped off from Enterprise, though, where they had to figure out how to use a splint, right?
Yeah.
Or did they do it in Star Trek Continues? They just do it so many other places. Yeah, I've seen this all before.
They borrow so much from better places.
Argorn monsters. I don't know.
They're big lizard guys.
Yeah, they're just the big lizard guys.
Okay, now what's Leslie McGuire saying here?
So there's only one torpedo. They have one torpedo that they can't use. They can't fire. They don't have shields. They can't do anything. And and then they're on orbit near a black hole too, to make matters worse. So, we can't fight the Gorn.
They just don't live long enough to talk about it.
People have seen them, they just don't live.
Yeah, people have seen them, but they don't live long enough to talk about it.
That's their excuse for violating canon.
Yeah, so that's their excuse. It's like, no. People have seen the Gorn, they just don't live for very long. So here we get the, everything sucks. And then he gives her this talking to. You kind of have to tell them that, they're going to survive this. Because if they don't think they can, then they're gonna just give up and roll over and die.
Actually,
that's a pretty good Star Trek message.
Yeah,
that's like better than anything in Discovery.
Last thing we want is Discovery. They just break down crying.
Yeah, your job is about hope.
Belief can be the difference between victory and defeat.
Mm-hmm.
You don't create a belief in miracles and not just getting one.
See, he's a good captain. He's playing he's a good version of a good Star Trek captain. Yeah. I wish it wasn't Pike in a prequel. I really wish they would have gone forward in time. I wish they would have.
John Campion's State of Strange New Worlds is better than The Next Generation, and I'm fine with his opinion. I think he's wrong, but I'm fine with his opinion.
Next guessing, which white male will get emasculated by women? Actually, not really. I mean, he doesn't get really a talking down to, does he? Because he's still in charge. But she does see this creepy-ass kid smiling at her all the time. So, this guy's good.
Tools are his mind and his hands.
can't move my
Again, this is ripped off from a TNG episode, Catastrophe.
Yeah.
Where Beverly Crusher and Geordi LaForge were stuck in a cargo bay and there was a plasma fire they had to put out.
Mm-hmm.
They even do the same exact thing to put it out.
Yeah. So she has to get it all changed out and fixed. Meanwhile, what else is happening? Oh yeah, they gotta go and hide behind the black hole or something, right? Is that before or after?
Yeah, they have to go into the clouds surrounding the event horizon or something like that. Thanks.
Oh, this is where they're on the shuttle, right?
Captain, we're approaching critical.
No, they're not on the shuttle. Is this episode or last episode?
This
is this episode. Okay, yeah, from the trailer where he gives her the mind meld. All right, so they got to go and take a shuttle for some reason, right? Let's skip ahead to that.
Why.
I don't even remember why. This is the problem with this. Here they are. They're in the shuttle.
ASS Puget Sound.
Why are they in
Okay,
the
turns
shuttle?
out, and she's telling the story about the Gorn.
Oh, yeah, the Gorn are signaling each other back and forth here. So this is their Gorn ships. They're signaling each other back and forth about something.
And that's how they communicate.
That's how they communicate, is with, like, light signals.
It's kind of like when the ships they would give it the flashlight.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a very kind of old 19th century, early 20th century way of communicating, but it doesn't seem very fitting here.
Yeah.
No.
Because how would they know the Gorn's language?
Something else.
So what did they go into the shuttle for? Just so he can mind meld with her? Like, what was their purpose there? Do you remember? Because he goes in and he mind melds with her. So that he knows she was, like, captured by the Gorn. She has to go and find why she keeps seeing these flashes of this creepy kid, who turns out to be her brother in her mind. So she ends up seeing...
Why is he smiling like some kind of pervert?
I don't know. Seems he's creepy. So he ends up, like, he saved her life, and he said, hey, we found this code, now you get out of here, and you run, and you take the code, and you survive, because I'm going to go and be the bait. I don't know, it's the code, so she has to remember that in her mind. That's why Spock has to do a mind meld with her for some reason. So she knows how they communicate and what the flashing means and what all this stuff. It's kind of convoluted and contrived. And it's something that, like, they would be able to figure out anyway. Why are they flashing to each other? Oh, this is like when the old ships would do this and this and this and this. Yeah. I mean, they would have seen that anyway? I don't know. Yeah, and the shuttlecraft's way too big. It's bigger than the ship. Why is it so big?
That's the Galileo from Galileo 7.
This is the Galileo?
They said take the Galileo.
Aww, that's stupid. Okay, so that's stupid. And she's like, hey... They signal to each other now, and now I can read it.
But you notice, though, they had to tie it back to her tragic backstory.
Yeah, which is really dumb, and she didn't need it. Like, she could have just said, yeah, I have a chip on my shoulder because I'm being compared to Khan. Because I have his last name.
You couldn't change it to Smith?
So Uhura figures out how to fix it due to his help. They get all that.
Resolving too fast. We are losing our cover.
Except, oh yeah, then they figure out, okay, we're gonna hide kind of near a black hole. We're gonna basically play dead. Let's see if we can play dead and we can outrun them. And let's use this whole thing to their advantage of, oh yeah, before we get to there. Let's use this to their advantage, and we'll go hide behind the black hole since they're not going to stop chasing us. They basically think of us as food. Well, let's just lure them into a trap, and we're going to go over here and see if we can resist the black hole's gravity longer than they can. Yeah, this episode is like, okay, it was engaging and it was interesting to watch as we're watching it, but to explain it back, there's so many plot holes and contrivances. It does not hold up to scrutiny, though. But, I mean, I think we're just there, like, watching it. It's kind of an enjoyable episode. You're not going to be sitting there too much stopping, because the pacing's good, the character development's pretty decent, like with these two.
Unfortunately, that is also true.
Oh yeah, we're in here. It's gonna vent the plasma, right in here in the room. But we're in here too. So they end up going into their little space suits.
Trust me, after all.
Assuming that will still matter.
Yeah, they're in their little space suits. What else happened in this one? Oh look, chiclet controls. So they try and outrun the Gorn, right?
They're going to use the gravity of the black hole to slingshot around it.
Did they win yet? Here they go.
You know, there's always sparks falling.
Always. Is this before? Oh, there you go. They follow him. Is that before or after it got crushed?
After.
Yeah, that's after it got crushed.
One of them fell into the gravity well.
Yeah.
And got crushed.
Oh yeah, one of them fell into the gravity well and that's the one that got crushed?
No.
It blowed up. I don't know. So it got crushed
But
and
take our
blows
word
up.
for it. One of them got blown up.
Yeah, it's just hard to queue up specifically here in the episode. So it gets blows up or it gets crushed and they're like, hey, that was cool. That was good. We survived, barely. Yay us. And number one's got her sickbay plot where she's like, I'm tough. I don't need stitches.
Yeah,
Give them to the other person.
Make sure you give the blood plasma to the other person before me because that's what I do.
Yeah, because I'm number one and I have a death wish. And that's how it all ends.
They lost 7 people.
And they lost 7 crew members.
This is kind of a nice moment because it shows that he's a captain. He's actually doing everything, the things that the captain should be doing.
Yeah, and
unlike Mikey Burnham, who just cries.
Yeah. So he got them all out of there alive. He didn't let them just give up and quit. So they're listening to notes. There's still
They still
a
don't.
little off. It's still like,
Little
yeah,
off?
it still needs salt or something. It needs seasoning. It needs something. It needs some saucing.
It needs to be good.
It's not bad. It's just not great.
It doesn't give you any real reason to like it.
Yeah. I mean, the characters aren't really likable enough to care. I mean, like the con chick is so busy being bitter and angry at the Gorn all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still imitation Star Trek. It's still like hover band of Star Trek.
The characters are very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Besides having a tragic backstory about La'an. What do we know? She has a tragic backstory, and
she's mad about it.
Okay. What else?
And she likes strawberries.
Do you like strawberries for some reason? Oh yeah, that's it. What do we know about Data? Tell me something we know about Data.
He was an android built by
But he actually, for an android, he does have a personality. What does he do?
He's trying to be human. He's curious. He's inquisitive.
Okay.
He wants to try and emulate humanity. He studies
And how
them.
does he do that?
By getting pets, and he paints, and he plays violin, and he tries to do things that people do. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
Lon, I'm angry.
Yeah.
They're
doing better giving us time with them, but yeah, we still don't really know more past their jobs.
We don't know more past their jobs or their tragic backstories.
But this is only episode 4, so I mean, how many episodes did it take to get Data?
It's going to take a while.
Other than, when we see Data, he tries to whistle.
Yeah, well, he's trying to be human.
Yeah, so there you go.
Trying to do things humans do.
I guess she's just mad about the Gorn. I guess that is her.
That
is her identity.
He bangs in the chief of security when she's drunk. That's Data.
Yeah.
How fully functional are you?
Well, that's episode 2, isn't it? Or episode 3 or something?
It's like, yeah.
All right, so that's Strange New Worlds. This one I probably... I got a score up for the taking notes from Discovery, the things that I didn't like. So I think I got to give this one a 6.5. But they screwed up the Gorn, making them just... They're just Predator now.
Yeah. I give it a 2 Chewbacca's.
Out of what?
Out of 6.
Where'd that spoon go?
Over here. I'll get you.
No, it's fine. You can wait till I wrap then, because I was just going to snack while you were doing.
Okay. I give it...
2 Chewbacca's out of what?
2 Chewbacca's.
Because this is the end of the stream anyway.
2 Chewbacca's out of 5. And there's a 6 Chewbacca for things that are so awesome that 5 cannot contain them. Mm-hmm. So 2 Chewbacca...
It's kind of mediocre.
It gets marks for being Star Trek, but it doesn't...
It's very Trek-like.
It's Trek-like. It's Trek-light. That's what it is, too.
Yeah,
it's
still getting like a little bit of these elements of like Discovery with being super gory.
Yeah, it's still got all the Kurtzman era trappings, which is dragging it down.
Yeah.
And it's still written by very incompetent people.
Yeah.
They're getting a lot of the aesthetic stuff. They're getting a lot of the superficial stuff kind of right, but they're not. But they're missing the boat. Like you're getting.
Where is she with mind meld here? Where is she in the mind meld?
Yeah.
It's kind of in the middle here.
Yeah.
When she's mind melding with Spock.
Again, how do
and
you...
she hears his. She's like, oh, you lost somebody too. And so
No,
he's got his little moment of, yeah, I lost my sister and blah, blah, blah.
But he can't talk about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it gets... There's things to like, but we've seen it done better other places.
There's a lot of... We've seen this all before. I mean,
Yeah.
and I get, like, how much can you really do with Star Trek where you're not... Because I can hear them now. They're like, oh, they're complaining when we try something different. They're complaining when they give them exactly what they've gotten. It's like, yeah, but...
Well, yeah, because it's still not good.
I mean, it's decent enough.
Did you ever play darts?
No. I'm still trying to figure out what people see in Anson Mount.
He's the most Star Trek-like
He's
character.
He's the most Star Trek-like character in this. Because, I mean, Spock isn't even that Spock-like. Yeah, he's barely even Spock-like.
To you, my thoughts. To you.
Yeah, I'm like, you mind melded with a Noonien-Singh, and yet it didn't come up in Spacey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it would have been irrelevant. Her last name had nothing to... It would have just been, what does that have to do with the conversation, I suppose? So if you're a Vulcan, you might think it might be logical to...
Well, anyway.
I don't know.
So anyway, like I said, they're getting aesthetic stuff right. They're getting some aesthetic stuff. They're getting some superficial stuff right. They're getting stuff around the edges right, but the meat is still off. It is like cooking a burger when you have the sesame seed buns, but the 2 all-beef patties are...
But it's like made out of frozen meat,
Yeah.
and it's kind of freezer burned.
It's kind of freezer burned, it's stale, it's dry.
And like the bun isn't even toasted, and it's like, okay, well, it's an edible burger, but it's not...
Good.
There's
Good
still
for
so
you.
much. Like if you're paying attention to every single detail, there's going to be so much to nitpick. There's going to be so much, and for me, I'm like, it hurts my brain to remember every single detail of every single thing that I'm interested in, to the point where I'm like, okay, well, is this just good on its own or not, without even comparing it to the canonical? Like, because that's where we're getting with a lot of this. So, yeah, a 6.5, I would say. It's still better than Discovery. So if your
Discovery
issue
sets
with,
a low bar. Though.
oh yeah, if your issue with Discovery is it's like so much part of this gender people cult of diversity, and blaming people for your problems and everybody being a victim and all that shit, then that's your show. This one is like, we're really, really trying hard to be the Orville.
Yeah, they're trying hard to be the Orville, but they still don't know why we like the Orville.
Yeah, they still aren't quite getting why we like the Orville. It's brighter, it's got more character development, it's still going to be... I think the Gorn are still going to be like the enemy of the week or in the background.
I would like to see
Or
an
not the enemy,
actual
the overarching.
character moment out of An.
Mm-hmm.
Show her painting. Show her playing violin. Show her playing a harpsichord. Show her on the holodeck fishing. Or whatever, show her doing something other than just being pissed off and angry.
Yeah, because if her whole character is just, I'm angry at the Gorn.
You know why we like Anson Mount as Pike? Because we've seen him do other stuff besides being a captain. He rides a horse.
He likes
cooks.
old movies.
He likes old movies. He cooks.
He's got a thing with some other captain chick.
Yeah.
So
we know.
Does she have a boyfriend? Does she have a girlfriend? Does she, make her gay? Who cares, right? Why not? Why not make her gay? Make her interested in the they-themsmen chick. I don't know. All these retcons make Spock look really bad for keeping so many secrets. Yeah. Well, and she even says, oh, you lost your sister.
The Orville is Star Trek spirit. They know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
fans.
like...
They're fans.
Yeah, it's like if the burger chain you love, sells out to somebody else, and then they open up another one. And then you're like, oh, well, this is the same owners. These are the same people who made the burgers I liked. So that's why we go to the Orville, because it's the same people.
There was actually, they talk about there was actually something about that on How I Met Your Mother. The guy had his first week in New York, he had the best burger he ever had, and he was looking for it, and then he thought he found it, and he's like, nah, it's still not right. Oh yeah, that's the place over on 39th. This is modeled after this place. So it was all a facsimile, but it wasn't the same. He says, it's just not the same. It's just not the same. You know why? Because it's not the same. So, Orville is also fully staffed with Trek writers. Yeah.
That's why that's good, because it's got the original people making it. The people who made Voyager are making the Orville. I like Voyager. I like the Orville. I mean,
well, the people who, like you said, Robert Meyer Burnett, and we keep going back to him, he said if you're a fan of Star Trek, if you walk into their offices and tell them you're a fan of Star Trek, they won't hire you. I'm like, but don't you need someone who loves Star Trek to do this?
Yeah. So I think that's really about all we can drag out of this one, huh? Is that a good place to wrap? About 30 minutes on that and about 2 hours on the other.
You need to love a Star Trek.
I gotta eat something. I'm getting starving already, so I have so much to do with packing and moving and all these things. So thank you guys so much. I might do another stream tonight. I don't know.
I might have the Obi-Wan trailer ready.
We're gonna try and get the Obi-Wan trailer if I can. If not, it'll be sometime. I'm moving soon, so I still have so much to pack and get done. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will put up the Strange New Worlds separately, just for people who don't want to go through the whole stream, and I'll probably trim out the first whatever. We'll see. Or I'll upload them separately. Who knows? So thank you guys so much for hanging out. We will see you on to the next video, live stream, or wherever. Bye!
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!